YouTube, we back again.
We sure are. We have a great topic for today.
We do. What is it?
Okay, we're going to talk about how detrimental this religion can be for kids.
That's a fact. Something we can all relate to. So
yes,
we ain't gonna waste no time. We'll get right into it.
I think that if you were somebody who grew up in this religion, then you can really resonate with what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we have all been there. We've had to sit through those meetings, and it can be very damaging. Like, once you become an adult and you look back and you're like, that kind of stunted my growth. And that's what it feels like. You know, you're getting indoctrinated at such a young age.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not fair, to children, because especially in this organization, they make it seem like in the organization, oh, this is the right thing. We're teaching our children the right thing. And they feel like they are, but in reality, you are not giving these children freedom of choice. Of course, kids don't get to do what they want.
No.
But in the real world, all right, you are not really giving this child a chance to say, all right, is this the truth? Let me see for myself.
No.
And go wherever this goes in life. It starts off, you have to do this.
Yeah. Because it's not like a normal religion where, okay, your family is, let's just say, like Catholic or something. Your family's Catholic, you guys go to church on Sundays, and, that's just what it is. It is like a full-blown, not just lifestyle, but it affects every single decision that you make. So as a child, you can't play sports. You can't participate in holidays.
No.
You can't. There's a lot of things that you can't do. You can't hang out with the worldly kids. And of course, parents are able to make certain decisions for their children because they're children.
Yeah,
you know
it's their
what
job.
I mean? Yeah, of course. But I think where sometimes it is the worst is when you, as a child, can see that your parents act one type of way at home and then completely change their character and how they act at the Kingdom Hall.
For real. It's a lot of families in these congregations where they try to beat the religion into the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's because it's a lot of this is fear being put in to these kids.
Yeah.
You have to do this or else.
Yeah.
And these are little kids, or you want to go skating, you can't go skating unless you go to the Kingdom Hall today. If you miss the Kingdom Hall, then you can't do this. So now the kid isn't really going, or even teenagers, they're not doing it because
they want to. They're doing it because you're giving them an ultimatum. And that happened so often, like even with friends of mine that were in the religion and stuff, when they graduated, it'd be like, oh, we'll buy you a car if you regular pioneer. Yes. So it was always an ultimatum where the child isn't making the decision because it's out of a love for God or love for this religion. It's out of they want this thing or this outcome, and so they have to do this. They want to go to the party on Saturday, so they're going to go out and service on Saturday morning. They want to go to their friend's house on Sunday evening, so they have to go to the meeting on Sunday. You know what I mean? Like it was something like that, and they have to study for their watchtower. Like that was always a thing. Like if you didn't study for your watchtower, so you're not going to do this.
Not going to punish you.
Yeah, and kids are very observant. Like they recognize whenever things are being done to them like this, and they're gonna view their parents as like hypocrites, because
for real, definitely.
Yeah, how are you telling me to study my watchtower? You barely studied yours.
Yeah, for real.
Like that's not fair.
Yup.
How are you telling me to comment and you didn't comment?
Right, that's not fair at all. This what you said made me just think of talking with my uncle, and I love my family a lot, but my cousin, thankfully he never got baptized or nothing. We the same age, grew up together,
right?
And he was always good at sports. And he was a solid kid growing up. He was always solid and good at sports, but he could never actually play.
Right.
Now, this is where it got real. So once we was grown and I woke up and me and my uncle having that conversation, I brought that up. Like, Chris was never allowed to play sports in school, and he always wanted to. He didn't want to. If he did, he would have said. And I'm like, no, he knew y'all wouldn't have ever let him play sports because we talked about this with my cousin. Like, come on now. He knew how strict his parents were.
Right.
And my uncle was in shock because he felt like he didn't want to play sports. I remember one time Chris was geeked. He was like, man, I'm gonna get to play sports this year. And we in high school, and then he got guilt tripped. Like, well, what's my mom and granddad gonna think? So he didn't do it. And I told my uncle, y'all peer pressured him into not doing it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much him doing it, not playing sports because he didn't want to. He just knew he was gonna get chastised for it. And my uncle's like, well, that's not the case. And then later on, he brought up, well, if he was gonna play sports, I would have supported him, but I would have made sure he was the best. We would have been outside training all day and nonstop. And I would have pushed him and pushed him and pushed him since he wanted to play sports. And it's like, I didn't think of this till later, but I wish I would have said that at the time. If Chris wanted to be a pioneer, would you have made him study all day?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't, because you were proud of what he's doing. But since you're not supporting him playing sports, you're going to punish him and make it hard for him so he don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the manipulation in this organization. Like, something as small as sports. You would not put that same pressure on somebody that's doing Jehovah's thing.
No.
You would just be like, I'm proud of you, son. Let me know if you need anything. But since it's something of the world, I'm about to make it a hard time for you.
And you know what? It's not fair, like, I think, whenever parents are raising children, because a lot of times they put, and this is above just the religious thing, but we're going to apply it to religion. I think they put expectations on children that they themselves can't even meet. And that's not right. Like, you can't teach somebody by just saying, especially children. Like, they're so observant. They watch everything that you do. So, like,
you don't even realize it.
No, you don't. And people will say it all the time, but, like, your kids are the ones that will be the first to call you out on, like, your BS. And it's true, because they notice everything. And especially if they're being told to do something and it's like, well, mom, you da-da-da-da-da. Like, they're always the first to just, like, knock you down. You know? But it's for a reason. And it applies to all things, but especially with, like, religion. You can't sit there and be a hypocrite and putting all these expectations on your kid that you can't even meet, And and the excuse is always, oh, well, I want you to be better than me. No, be better for yourself, and your kids will just see it.
They learn from you.
Yes, and they're gonna learn more from actions. Like, that's what we remember. I don't remember so much like what you told me to do. Like, I remember what I saw. That's
more important, like you said. Yeah. And I like how you brought out some points we'll put on the screen about how, this affects children's minds.
Oh yeah, especially from, whenever you're a child and you're getting put into like an extreme religion and extreme indoctrination, it really stunts your growth, because you're learning all of these things and you don't have that like freedom of thought. And of course children need to be guided, but they should still be able to like use their brain, you know what I mean? And
in a normal way.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll put up how it affects. It's funny because I feel like those of us who grew up in the religion, had experiences as child in this religion, we can feel and resonate with what we're talking about. But it's just crazy whenever you see it for yourself, Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, so we're gonna read about this. It says, does religious indoctrination cause brain damage? Perhaps in other cases, extreme religious indoctrination harms the development or proper functioning of the prefrontal regions in a way that hinders cognitive flexibility and openness. So that makes complete sense. But I was like, okay, what exactly is the prefrontal cortex? Like, what is that in charge of? So I looked it up, and here are 4 things that the prefrontal cortex of the brain does. This brain region has been implicated in executive functions such as planning, decision-making, working memory, personality expression, moderating social behavior, and controlling certain aspects of speech and language.
That don't make no type of sense right there.
Literally.
But that's spot on.
It is literally spot on. And whenever we talk about like it being in charge of like decision-making and planning, kids always, if you grew up in this religion, it's like as you develop into becoming an adult, it's almost like you have this thing where you always need the approval of other people.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know?
Yeah.
And
you're a people pleaser.
yes, and
Yep.
it shows on where that came from, because ever since you were a kid, you needed validation from the people around you and from your parents. So it totally hinders even your sense of personal identity.
Yep, definitely.
Just like it said, personal expression,
Yep.
same thing.
You can't express yourself. Like we was just saying, my cousin, he loved sports, wanted to play sports, couldn't play sports.
To the point where his dad didn't even know about it.
Right.
Years later.
Yeah, because he knew something that he was passionate about. This ain't just some random little thing you want to do. This is something you're passionate about. This is, and a lot of the things you're calling is something you don't even realize until you look back and say, people have always told me I was good at this. I'm a good public speaker. I'm good at this, and that.
Yep.
People constantly, man, you need to play sports. Man, we need you on the team. Because they see what you got, but you can't express this. And then what ended up happening, my cousin had a lot of resentment toward the family.
Of course.
Because of this religion.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, kids are so cool because they're just coming into this world and they're just so open, you know?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
you don't even know what they're going to be good at because they're just so ready to go and try different things, you know? And this goes from whenever they're, like, tiny. So you as the parent have to kind of look at them and be like, and see what they're good at, you know?
Right.
And allow them the space to pursue those things if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, that's what you should do, and allow them to be. And this is a big mistake. Just because you as the parent believe in this religion, that's your journey. That's for you.
Yeah.
But your children may not want to do this.
Yes, that's
and it's
so
not
true.
fair. You're forcing them to do something that they haven't even decided if that's for them.
Yeah, I have a friend and we were talking and I just saw such a difference in like the way that she was raised versus the way that I was raised. And she talked about how like her parents they were like very open and they allowed her to express herself in many different religious ways. So she had like a vast knowledge of different religions by the age of like 25, you know, because when she was younger, like her parents weren't like, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that, oh, you can't do this. And she is such like an evolved person mentally. She's a young girl, but she's like very, like her mind, you would think she's like 40 years old and has lived like the craziest life, but it's because of her parents, you know, they fostered this in her and she has so much love for her parents. And I have love for my parents too, because my mom wasn't super like strict, but I always saw her fear and that passed on to like us, you know, like her fear of like people pleasing and, you know, wanting to do right by her parents and all of that. And really, I just believe that everybody is here and has to find their own journey. Like I don't, that's one thing I wouldn't want to raise my kids that way, you know, like I want them to figure it out, like, and I'll make the space for them, you know?
Yeah, and we support it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, kids just come in so like open and ready they're so full of energy, full of personality, and it's just like through different indoctrination like religion and even school, like it just hinders them, you know, and all of a sudden their personality is like slowly drifting away.
Yeah, they learn not to be as creative as they came in this world to be.
Yeah.
Kids, when you ask kids, like we mentioned before, what you want to be when they grow up, they minds is stuff that most adults wouldn't even think. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and it's good to foster that in a child. Like children are amazing, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, putting them in an extreme religion like this, it just hinders their self-worth. And then we can even talk about how in the Jehovah's Witness religion, for example, like kids and adults, everybody's in the same room at the same time learning the same things.
That's not, you gotta understand, certain things are not for kids, but when it comes to this organization, this is where they take that rule away, and it's everybody's on the same page to get to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And they do this with pride. Even, you know,
with pride.
Yeah, like, you know, they say, oh, in other religions, they take the kids and they put them somewhere else and let them play with toys. But here in Jehovah's organization, we all learn and we all give talk. It's not for kids.
No.
School is bad enough taking a child and sticking them in this building with windows while it's nice outside and making them sit down all day and learn how to read like, not that it's not beneficial, but it's a certain time for that. You don't need to be sitting down reading all day as a 6-7-year-old kid. You need to be outside most of the time.
But at least it's more age appropriate because, okay, if you look at school, they have preschool and then they have kindergarten and then they have first grade, but it's like age appropriate. So in preschool, you're not going to be just in a class learning. No, you get nap time, you get snack time, and you get to play. Like, you get play time, and it's just age appropriate.
Right.
So sticking a kid and making them learn in the same Kingdom Hall as the adults are learning, and it's about all this like fear-mongering tactics and things, and they're not allowed to not pay attention. It's
and
like,
it's from
pay
being
attention.
From a baby. From the babies might get some leeway because they can't understand what's going on. But once you a child able to understand, sit down.
Yeah.
3 years old, sit still. All that. That's crazy. Like you said, it's a time. It should be, all right, once kids get to, teenage years, now they should have to sit and pay attention and do all this extra stuff. But no, that's not fair to little kids.
Yeah, and even then they get like no slack, they go to school all day. They're just like adults. Like, they go to school all day and then they have to go and sit through the boring meeting. I'm sorry, but it's boring. It's boring for kids, it's boring for teenagers because you're listening to the same studies over and over again, especially the Wednesday night meetings. Like, the Wednesday night meetings were, I feel like, worse than the Sunday meetings. Yeah,
because the Sunday ones is this person up there for 30 minutes, song, watchtower study, done. But all this person come up for some minutes, and that person, and it's boring material. You got to listen to somebody do a Bible reading and act like you liked it. Yeah, but it's a video that you found with Caleb and Sophia that shows pretty much backing up what we're saying, because we're not making this stuff up. We can put that on the screen.
It is literally praised to like make your kids pay attention, and that all of them are in the same room together, as the adults. So we're gonna play the video clip for you guys.
So we'll listen together to our first subheading, Spiritual Restoration, Why It Matters. Let's have the reading of paragraph 9.
Consider the historical perspective. Christians back in the first century enjoyed many spiritual blessings. Jesus and the apostles foretold that true worship would be corrupted and lost.
Did you notice in the beginning they even quoted a scripture? If y'all missed it, go back, just rewind a little bit, and they put Deuteronomy. Nowhere in the Bible does it say not to play with toys or fall asleep at the Kingdom Hall.
These are kids. Like, they probably went to school all day and then they have to go and sit at the Kingdom Hall. It's boring. They're trying to distract themselves.
Yep.
Like, really what should happen, it's nice that other churches do like the Sunday school and the youth group, and it's more age appropriate. You know what I mean? They're still learning about Bible-based things, but there's not so much fear put in there. Because if you watch the rest of that video, literally they get home and the parents are like, oh, what did you guys learn at the meeting today? And Sophia is like, not to fall asleep in the meeting. Like, look at their faces at the end of that video. They were so like disappointed and like they were scared, you know? They felt guilty. And then the little boy was like, oh, not to play with toys at the meeting. And the dad goes on to say, think back to like Noah's day and think about Noah. What if they were playing with toys whenever God gave them the direction to build the ark? I literally looked at him and I was like, Noah was a grown man.
For real, and I got my own theory on that ark stuff, but that's for another video.
And then he goes on to say, oh, because if you have to pay attention because it can save your life. Like, look at the fear mongering
and
in
little
that.
kids. And it's
Life.
When it comes to pay. All right, certain things are necessary to save your life, but it ain't nothing inside this Kingdom Hall with playing with toys. Little kids play with toys, and on top of that, you telling the kid to pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what? What are they paying attention? They are not comprehending this bogus stuff up here on this platform that's being talked about. It makes the teachers make no sense. The teachings are boring, and kids are not comprehending the stuff that they talking about. This is stuff for grown brainwashed people, but it's not for the children to listen to.
No, and I feel like that's why the organization ended up making the Caleb and Sophia videos, because it's more age appropriate, you know what I mean?
Cartoons.
So then at least kids can pay attention to a cartoon, you know, if you're
Yeah.
doing that for family worship. But before the Caleb and Sophia videos came out, like family worship, it had no spice, no seasoning, no nothing. You
No.
were reading from a book and answering questions. Reading from a book, answering
Yeah.
questions. Like, that's what it was about, you know? And some parents would get creative and do, like, little plays and, like, you act out a scene or, you know,
Yeah,
do
little
stuff like
dramas
that.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but that
Yeah.
should be something that should be done, like, from the church, you know? Just like other churches do, like the youth group where they all get together and they all play a role and then have to, you know, perform it in front of the parents and stuff.
Right.
Like, I remember going to church whenever I was a kid and it was something like that. Like, everybody had, like, a role to perform and then you dressed up and, like, you each played the role. Like, that's how kids learn, you know? And then
Yeah,
it's
but
fun.
But this stuff right here ain't it. And it's not fair, especially when it comes down to locked in to this contract of a Jehovah's Witness. That's how
Yeah.
we explain the baptism. We got another video we're going to drop about baptism. But to sum it up, little kids getting baptized in this religion is not like when babies get baptized
No.
at the church.
Not at all.
No, because you're not locked into a contract. You can leave the church or do whatever you want to do and still have your family ties. But in this organization, kids, I know people that was 8, 9 years old and got baptized,
Yep.
not even knowing what they signing up
Yep.
for. You can't drive a car. You can't buy liquor. It's a lot of stuff. You can't vote. You can't join the army. None of this stuff. But you can lock into this contract for the rest of your life
That's
in this
insane.
organization. And if you ever decide, you know, once you turn 18 or once your brain start to develop down the line that this ain't it, you can't leave. Or you
No.
can leave, but
But
with
you'll be
consequences,
shunned.
you're
Yeah.
going to lose everything you ever had. And that's not fair.
No, it's not the same kind of baptism as other religions. Like,
Yeah.
you're literally, like you said, locked into a contract. And that's why you have kids who are getting disfellowshipped. Like, how can you be 14, 15, 16, 17 getting disfellowshipped and you're still supposed to be living, like, with your parents and your parents are
Yeah.
supposed to shun you?
Right, and that's what's going on with the Norway case.
Yeah, parents kicking their kids out. Like, be for real. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah, how does Jehovah feel about this? This kid made this decision as a little boy, little girl.
Yeah.
And now they being told, well, you got to stand on what you said when you was 8 years old, when you was 9 years old. Now that you're 20.
Yeah.
Come on.
And the kids' parents will be so happy when they're 9 years old getting baptized. That is child abuse.
For real.
You know what? You as the parent know what they're signing up for and know the possible consequences if they end up making a mistake, like most humans do.
Yup.
You know, like, you know what they're signing up for. That shouldn't be allowed.
No, and these kids not even at the age where they liking boys or liking girls, whatever their thing is. They don't even, they minds is playing with Hot Wheels and Barbie dolls at the time. They ain't thinking nothing about that stuff, so it ain't fair for them to lock in and say, all right, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that.
Right.
They minds ain't thinking nothing about that stuff. They don't even know what fornication is. None of that stuff. So moving to our next point. This is something else that's treacherous to children. Trouble with fitting in. That starts, we can even start from the beginning, right?
Yeah, because you're already going to go through different things whenever you're a kid, you know?
As a normal kid.
Yeah, it's just natural, you know? Like, kids are mean, kids are kind of ruthless, so there's already going to be something there, you
Yeah.
know? And now you're telling your child, don't stand up for the flag, don't participate in any of these holiday activities, not even coloring a Christmas tree, nothing.
No.
You can't go to the holiday party, you can't go and participate in the Valentine's Day little exchange, like, none of these things, you know? And that's why most parents end up just homeschooling the kid and that be it. But then they still lack that, like, social interaction, so they don't know
Yeah.
how to hang out with other kids, you
They
know?
end up, a lot of the times, Jehovah's Witness children end up the weird kids. And then on top of that, you being told to preach to kids at school. Who does that?
Yeah.
Little kids are not kicking that religion BS to other little kids at school. Like, that's
No.
weird. That's not normal. And like you said, kids already have a tough time fitting in.
Yeah.
And looking back, kids don't have no boundaries. You don't learn boundaries until you get older.
Yeah.
The type of jokes and stuff you say when we was in elementary school.
Oh my gosh.
It was bullying was a real thing, because once we got to high school, the jokes was amongst our friend group.
Yeah.
Me and you friends I crack on you, you crack on me, back and forth. But that dude over there who got on, you know, some rough, beat up clothes, we got the minds to understand he got it rough at home.
Yeah.
I'm not about to make his life harder.
Kids don't understand that.
Kids don't know that.
Oh, you stink. Oh, like.
He's stinky. That's Stinky Fred. Stinky Fred. Now this kid is Stinky Fred. You know what I'm saying? And so on top of kids being this way, like you're saying, you already taking somebody that's struggling and making it 10 times worse by pushing this religion on them and making them the outsider. Even
and
like
trying to make them preach at school and stuff.
That's not ain't nothing cool about that.
No. And, you know, when you become an adult, it's like you're happy that you were the weird kid or whatever, and it's cool to be weird, you know, once you become an adult. But when you're a kid, it's like so treacherous, you know, like you feel you're already trying to like learn about yourself, and then you just feel extra outcasted.
Right, kids just want to fit in. They just want to blend in with everybody else.
They do. They don't want to be picked out. Like they just want to go with the flow, you know.
Yeah, they don't want to be the weirdo. But you know, Jehovah's Witnesses push this on their kids, and even it's weird because the things that are weird about these kids, they try to flip it and make it sound like these are things Jehovah's proud of. These young kids go to the door and knock on door. Listen, kids going to knock on doors, biggest fear is what?
Seeing somebody from a school.
For real.
Like, I was seeing that in my class. Oh my gosh. I remember I had to go, and we were preaching in the territory that like my friend lived, that I would go to her house on the weekend and stuff.
Right.
And because my mom would let me, okay? But we went to her house and I was like, oh my God, like please don't answer the door. Please don't answer the, because she knew I was Jehovah's Witness, but it's different to like know your friend is a Jehovah's Witness but still like hang out with them versus seeing them like boom, live in action, like preaching the word to you.
Yeah.
Like, I was in middle school at that time, and even still, I was like,
that just wasn't a good feeling. You don't want that.
I did not want to do it. No.
The first time I went in service, I was a teenager, and the first time we go out, my grandmother, my family was annoying with that stuff because it'd be somebody across the street over there, and they gonna flag, hey.
Oh.
It was these two girls, and the girl went to school with me, and she was of the community, and she was with this STUD. Hopefully that's a word I can say on YouTube because that's not like offensive. But it was two girls together, and the girl was like a pretty girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seeing them, my grandmother calling them over, and it's like really.
But the girl,
yeah, it was like lame.
And
like
she just had to be pretty.
Yeah, it had to be the pretty girl. So, but she was cool about it. Like she never
talked about it.
Never said
but
that.
It's still embarrassing.
Yeah, it's
like
still
how
embarrassing.
old were you?
I was like 16 or 17.
That's a terrible age for something like that to happen. Like that's whenever, you know, like your interest in women are like peaking. You know what I mean? It's just.
And it was like the worst part was I went to the Kingdom Hall with my grandparents, but I wasn't baptized or nothing. And they finally, when you gonna go on service? When you gonna go on service? So it was like, it's not like I was living like a Jehovah's Witness or nothing like that.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. Like I'm doing this because y'all won't shut up about it, but come on now. And that's something else. Like once I got baptized, going in service, that was still something I didn't like.
Nobody likes going in service.
No.
Going in service sucks.
And Dayton was so small that you're gonna run into people. So once I was in service was the worst when I was disfellowshipped and came back. Because I really never 100% became a Jehovah's Witness again after I got back. So we going in territories of people I still be kicking it with. Like, come on now, these people I'm about to hit the bar with this weekend or the club, like, you know what I'm saying? So
like, I'm not trying to be out there. You're out there living a double life. I'm not trying to go to these people's doors.
You know what I'm saying? And that's as an adult.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine for children because you got to actually see these people at school.
Yeah.
Yep.
For us, we went to a Kingdom Hall that was outside of like where my school territory was, you know, but this girl happened to live like right on the border to where our Kingdom Hall had that territory. Usually that my whole school territory was the other Kingdom Hall, you know, so I didn't run into that issue much.
That's good.
It was good because it was a big enough space where like everybody that I went and knocked on the door, like I didn't know them, so I didn't care that much, I guess, you know, but like I never took on the whole oh, I'm not going to participate in these like holiday activities. No,
Nah,
my mom would let
forget
me
that.
make my Valentine's Day
Same.
box. She would let me do all of that.
Take us to go get candy from CVS and
Yeah,
all that. Yeah, to take
yeah.
for real. Thankfully, our moms was cool.
Yes, thankfully, but I know a lot of people, they were not cool with that, and they would make their child suffer through the day just being freaking weird and not even just pulling them out for the day. You know, like
Yeah.
at least other parents might say, okay, well, that's Valentine's Day party box, so you're gonna come home early, or
No.
you're gonna just make you suffer through and watch everybody else eat their candy, and you're sitting there like
Looking weird, but shout out to the disfellowship mamas.
No,
we got to do all the cool stuff. They be trying to talk down on the disfellowship mamas. Them the
let
goats,
me.
because they believe it, but they ain't really about to push too much of it.
Yeah.
But you just made me think of something. Before I got disfellowship, I switched to this congregation out in the suburbs. That was clutch. Cause
You didn't know nobody.
I ain't know nobody, so I ain't care about going out in service and talking to these random it was mostly old people lived
Yep.
out there. And I could still live my double life at the time. Like most witnesses live a double life anyway.
No,
so,
for
yeah,
real.
Yep, so it was cool.
Yeah, that is so true. But yeah, you just have trouble like fitting in. And then you can talk to Jehovah's Witnesses who have like grown up in it, and a lot of them will tell you like that they still have problems with, you know, like they still have like social issues.
For
you
real.
know?
A lot of times.
Yeah, even I feel like I had a fairly normal childhood, but even myself, like I could get like social anxiety or something, you know, before, and I think that comes from leaving the religion, thinking that I had all these friends in the religion, and then
Realizing they wasn't your friends.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then just being able to like act like you don't exist or like are not there, you know, like these are all like traumatic things, you know. And for other kids who had to be in it since they were children, they have trouble making friends, like
Right, because they were never, you know, you can't be friends with the kids at school.
No,
Yep.
no. And I don't feel like I ever had trouble like making friends, but it's the wanting to keep up like your protective wall kind of thing.
Right.
But these other kids that you talk to, they're like, I can't make friends.
Like,
you know?
I don't know where to start. Then you got the ones that grew up in it and left, and they single, and now they don't know how to talk to
Women or men, yeah.
men because they weird. It's hi.
Yeah, just really off.
I'm so and this people automatically like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, because those are things that you experience when you're a kid, you know, like that extreme anxiety talking to like a boy that you like or a girl that you like. That's something that you experience when you're younger.
Not
you know?
grown.
Not like 25 years old and you're coming up to me like, you know,
Yeah,
like.
all weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how, and a lot of these people are, what's the word to put it? They jump the gun a little bit. They might come up to a girl and say some wild freak stuff off the rip, and they like, what's wrong with you? Because they just don't know how to operate, and they had to bottle up a lot of stuff, and they was on, you know, them talks they used to give about people on them websites.
Yeah.
So that all they know about women is, I don't know how to talk to them in the real world. Let me jump on my
And the
phone
things
and watch
they
these
see on
videos.
porn.
Yup, so they approaching women and saying some off the wall stuff because they don't know how to, hey, what's up? I'm so and so.
Yeah.
You know, I was just wondering what your situation was. You know, maybe we can grab some. They don't know how to talk like that.
No, they don't.
Don't.
It's messed up. So it stunts your growth from even a small age into your social behaviors and how you act as an adult.
And lastly, this is religion in general, but Jehovah's Witnesses like to act like they sugar honey iced tea don't stink. When you have this organization like this, right, it's painted as the truth. It's, you know, God's place. It's Jesus' place. That teaches people to let a wall down instead of having reality.
Yep.
And anywhere else in life, you wouldn't let your kid wander off at the park or wander off at the store.
Yeah.
But in this congregation or this organization, kids are looked at, oh, that's brother so-and-so, that's sister so-and-so, and everybody is your friend.
Yeah.
Everybody has the best interest, and this is why all these lawsuits popping up now.
Yes.
And all the members can't fathom the idea, because if somebody say something, oh, that's a lie, because they not living in reality.
No.
They living in this false world that, you know, this the congregation is safe. all the elders are safe. In real life, you have sick people.
Yeah, you live under the impression that like everybody who's a part of this organization has the greatest of intentions and who are living within Jehovah's commandments and are great people and put them above yourself, you know, like all of these like selfless thoughts, and then you end up putting your child in harm's way
because of these titles. Oh, this is an elder. This is a ministerial servant, and it's all Jehovah's hand selected these people because he read their heart. But Jehovah ain't got nothing to do with this organization. This is a business. This is your kid wandering around at the Walmart Corporation or something like that. And you have, and this is the perfect place for predators to hang at because, everybody got their guard down. Shoot, man, I could just slide through here and everybody just think I'm a cool elder. Yeah. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And I say this, with religions in general, not saying that everybody in religion is a bad person because there's good people there too, but on the flip side, the worst people, this is the best place to hang at because everybody is forced to be forgiven. Everybody is forced, not to judge. All of that stuff. So all the worst people come kicking in religions. Drunks, people that do
beat
drugs, people that beat women, people that mess with kids, people that gamble, people that scam, prostitutes. All these people come to the church because long as you come here, God gonna forgive you. Oh, well shoot, all I gotta do is show up in here and then I leave here and God gonna forgive me anyway, and y'all supposed to forgive me, so I get to do whatever I want to do. So the worst people are gonna hang out at the religious spots. Sadly
that is something that is a huge danger within religion and that we don't even acknowledge. And the most messed up part about this is that in a lot of the kingdom halls, the parents aren't even warned about people who they know to be predators.
For real, that is
they're not even warned about it. Like, so you can't even like keep your antenna up about brother so and so, this elder or whatever. You can't even keep your antenna up because I'm sure like people would raise hell about it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that's why they don't say anything. But just think about how messed up that is, that the elders can catch somebody doing something or be brought with a piece of information that, brother so-and-so watches child porn, or brother so-and-so is, has messed with like a child before, and the parents in that congregation are not even warned about that.
No.
Like, wrap your mind around that, because it was always the brothers that were like the nicest ones with the kids, that always had the kids like flooding
giving
around
them candy and stuff. Yeah.
We had one of those at our kingdom hall, and he like all the kids loved him. Like, he was like a big kid, giving kids candy.
Yeah.
I find out in my adult years that in the past he was in trouble for watching child porn.
Yeah, and this stuff is swept under the rug because, we let Jehovah handle it. We didn't need to get the authorities involved. No, this person, for one, you don't need to be on the street, because it's not like, somebody committing fornication.
Yeah.
Two grown adults like each other, they mess around. Oh, that was a mistake. This is not an accident, slip and fall mistake. This is a behavior problem. This is a mental problem. It's not something that's going to go away. This person is going to be forever sick in the head.
Yeah.
So disfellowshipping them, they can't talk to their family for a year or some time and then bringing them right back. No, that don't work. Or sending them to a different congregation. No, you need to be up through. You can't be around.
Yes, and you need to be up front with like the members. You know what I mean? Like,
put his picture on the wall, something. For real.
It doesn't mean they have to treat them like a certain type of way, but at least make the parents known. Like, that's messed up to like not tell the parents about something like that, so that they can have their antennas up whenever their child is around that person.
Right. Or this person should be having limitations. All right, you sit over there, you come in, you talk to the brothers and sisters. A kid come up, you go the other way. You're not allowed around the kids.
Yeah.
That should be the things. But of course, Jehovah is forgiving and all that BS, and they're allowed to just mingle and do what they want to do.
But meanwhile, somebody can be disfellowshipped for 30 plus years over fornication.
Come on now.
Of two consenting adults.
And they get shunned forever. Come on. And I'm sure so many people in the comments gonna say, yeah, in our congregation we had a person like that.
Yeah.
Because this is normal life. Out of 50 people, there's gonna be a couple here and there that are sick in the head.
Yeah.
But somehow I can't think of the number or the word I'm trying to say, but the probability basically in this congregation is wiped away.
Yeah.
Well, now you got 50 people. Well, 0 out of 50.
No,
we're
that's
all good
not
people.
realistic.
No, that's not how life works.
The truth
Statistics, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but probability was also good.
Yeah.
Like things like religions and like church groups, schools,
youth stuff.
like youth
coaches.
groups. Yeah, all those places sadly are like a big green flag for people who are sick like that. Like those are the places that those people gravitate towards because they know that it's easier access to the children,
right.
you know? So you have to be aware of that. You can't just put your guard down completely, but they brainwash you into thinking that you're able to completely put your guard down with other Jehovah's Witnesses.
No, and unfortunately, the worst people I ever met in my life were Jehovah's Witnesses. Hands down. And this is no different. Whatever you're interested in, you're going to go hang where that's at. All right, if you like, you a person that's in the finances and things like that, more than likely you're going to go to seminars to where you can network.
Yeah.
If you're a single man and you like women, you might go to the club, to the bars, things like you gonna hang there. If you're a gold digger, you going to the NBA games, NFL games. If you a creep, you going where the kids is at or where the gullible people are at. And a lot of gullible people hang out in the Kingdom Hall or things like that.
Yes.
It's that simple, but you can't try to tell, oh no, this is where it's safe at. Miss me with that. And the moment you speak against it, now
you're the bad guy.
Yeah, now you the bad person for questioning Jehovah or his so-called organization or ways of doing things. And people are so brainwashed that if you show them these lawsuits, just type in on Google Jehovah's Witness lawsuits and scroll. There's not just one or two, there's multiple ones. But the witnesses are so brainwashed, they'll see this and say that's a lie. Because in reality, it's 0 out of 50 on the statistics in the Kingdom Hall.
Yeah, and how can you say that that's a lie? Like, this is how brainwashed some of those people that are in this religion are. Because they can't even see the realities of life. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't just a Jehovah's Witness thing, but if you had some sense of critical thinking, then you would be able to realize, like, okay, yes, this is a religion that I believe in. Yes, I believe in this, and this is what I stand by. But I also understand of human imperfection, and I understand that these kinds of things can be within my religion. What is wrong with saying that?
Right, they can't do that.
No.
It just doesn't click in their minds for some reason.
No, immediately it's, oh, that's propaganda. Oh, that's what the apostates are saying. No, it's not.
Right, because everybody knows, I know in our family it's swept under the rug, but there are certain people who dealt with that stuff in our family with predators in the congregations, but it's swept under the rug like it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's so uncomfortable to deal with.
It is.
You know, but it's the reality, so deal with it.
And certain people in the family didn't like when I brought up, you know, these things are going on in an organization. Oh, no, it hasn't. It happened to people in our family. You didn't know that, did you? You know why? Because it's swept under the rug. And now I'm the crazy apostate.
Now I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, but that's just something we have to touch on because this is the worst place for children.
Yeah, it can be a terrible place for children, you know? And it back to like our first point, it's the hypocrisy that resides in it as well, you know? Like as parents raising kids in this organization, don't be putting expectations on your children that you can't meet. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not fair to the child.
At all. And then they grow up regretting it. And they try to make it seem like, well, they can make their own decision once they get older. Don't make the decision harder for them to make.
Yeah.
Because you lock them into these contracts or you threaten them the whole time. And that way they are like, I don't want to do this, but I don't know how to express myself or let the family know I don't want to do this because it's going to be backlash.
80% of people who are Jehovah's Witnesses or who are still in the religion are not doing it organically, out of like their own heart. They're doing it because other people are pressuring them into doing it, you know? It's not coming from like their heart.
Yeah, if you didn't have to get baptized in order to do all this stuff, a lot of people probably wouldn't do it. Or if you was able to do certain things and not be disfellowshipped, everybody would do it. So like you say, it's a high percentage that don't really want to do this stuff.
Yep, agreed.
Yep, but on that note, y'all know we got something to help with those who are escaping.
Of
what we
course.
got for them?
We have our healing journals. We have the PMO version and we have the regular version. PMO version doesn't have anything on the back. Or regular version does, obviously, but it is the same material inside, okay?
So make sure y'all tap in. The link is in the description and y'all can order that. Hit us on our Instagram. Drop some comments too, because I know y'all got y'all sides of the stories, because we done all been through this, and all them Jehovah's Witnesses gonna say, y'all, you guys are lying. Yeah, we lying. Everybody in the comments lying. All of us just lying, making this stuff up. So make sure y'all continue to hit us on our Instagram at Awaken Truths, IG, and what else they gotta do?
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, indeed. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Peace.